Namaskar. I am Pragyala. On behalf of Bureaucrats India, I welcome you all to this February 15th, 2024 edition of BI Dialogue. Bureaucrats India is India's most popular platform, highlighting the stories of good governance by bureaucrats across India. Today we have with us Chandana Dasari, Collector and District Magistrate of Nalgonda, a district in Telangana. A 2010 batch IAS officer, Hari, previously served as the collector and DM Narayan Pet in Telangana as well. Having a degree from London School of Economics and worked in global firms like World Bank and BP Shell in London, her pursuit for the service of nation and enhancing the quality of lives of the people took her to civil service examination. From initiating the first ever land pooling scheme of India, which gave a decent housing to the poor and development rights to the landowners who contributed in the pooling, to recycling plastics for a widespread usage for the public, to the first ever pet park in India. The initiatives of IAS Dasari is impacting lives in positive ways. She drove many sustainable initiatives in Hyderabad, which are instrumental in enhancing the lives of the people. We welcome you, Chandana Dasari ji, and looking forward to have more insights through our conversations. I also take this opportunity to introduce Dr. Navneet Anand, Editor-in-Chief, Bureaucrats India, and Founder Director of one of the most respected communication consulting firms in India, that is Grey Matters Communications and Consulting. A former journalist, Dr. Anand has had vast experience in journalism, research, academics, PR government, and political communications consulting. Now I request Dr. Anand to please carry forward the conversation.
Thank you, Pragya, and thank you, Chandana Dasari ji, for agreeing to join us. I know you are an inspiration for millions. Also a very, very popular IAS officer, widely followed on the social media platforms. And I'm sure many who are watching us today or will watch the recording subsequently will get inspired further by your tenacity, your innovative approaches, and the work that you have done. What a delight for Bureaucrats India to have you with us today in this conversation. As Pragya said, Bureaucrats India is about celebrating positivity, about celebrating good governance, and about bringing young, bright IAS officers and other officers like you to interface with people and to tell about your stories. It's been 14 years, Hari, and let me begin with a philosophical question. What is IAS for you? Reading through your profile, it looks like you have been chasing innovation. You have been, fired with an extraordinary passion to bring innovations in everything that you do. Of course, everything designed to help citizens, the last mile delivery, as we say it. What has been your inspiration, both as an individual and as an IAS officer, Hari?
So that's like going back to my interview. Thank you, firstly, Bureaucrats India, for having me over and also sharing my stories with you. It's well, coming back to your question about why the IAs and why I have chosen this path. I had worked in different sectors. I worked in the private sector before. And I grew up watching the IAs. My father is an IAS officer. So when I compared the kind of impact that we can have through this service and through this career path, it was not just about me, myself, and my career growth or my personal growth. It was also about the desire to make an impact and also the desire to create positivity wherever through my job. So that is what inspired me to take up the exam and also to join the service. And I've been fortunate that I could get through, and I've been able to contribute positively to the system, because there's a lot of changes we can bring, and a lot of positive impact that can happen within the system. We don't need to work through an NGO or through some other career path. That was not for me, but a lot of things can be done, and that's the energy that I've brought into the service. And whichever role I could take up during my 14 years career, I could see that I made this positive change wherever I could go. It's a small one or a big one, we can do a lot. So that was the reason for me to join the service.
Before we go back to your fascinating career and a series of great things that you did, let me begin with Nalgonda, your current assignment, the biggest district in Telangana. So what is Nalgonda, if you could help us sitting in, let's say, New Delhi or Nagaland understand? It certainly has a lot of potential.
It is a big district. It is, in fact, the biggest district of Telangana right now. And it is traditionally a district known for textiles and leather. And we have also one of India's biggest dams, which is the Nagarjuna Sagar here. So there are a lot of irrigation potential area. And it's very close to Hyderabad. So there's a lot of industrialization here and a lot of mining also. So there are these associate problems of labor and agriculture, a lot of innovation and agriculture happening here, and also very interesting irrigation projects happening. So that is about the districts. It's a lovely district, and culturally also very rich in terms of its Buddhist heritage.
Now, so any priorities that you would like to set for Nalgonda? I know it may not be right to be asking you on an interview, but I'm sure diligent that you are, you would already have charted a map for yourself as to how you wish to take the development trajectory upwards for Nalgonda.
Mostly the development trajectory is set by the state government and the goals that the establishment has about what they want and what is the pursuit. So that is always our first priority. That's what we do. And apart from that, we also, the government recently has been focusing on employability and increasing the skill potential of everyone. So we are trying to take up skill development initiatives in the district in the lines of what the government envisages. So we have started a program for upskilling. Mostly in India, we have all of us focus on education. We don't focus on skills much. So we have a lot of educated youth who are not able to meet the marketable opportunities because they don't have the skills, let's say, in languages, in having practical work skills. So that is something which we have taken up in this district. It's fairly new. I am a month old here. But because with that priority of the government to create better employability, we have taken up this upskilling initiatives where right now we have started around 12 programs for skilling youth. Mostly they're trained in new technologies like AI, robotics. Also, this we have started in our colleges in the district, where the students are already undergoing engineering, vocational, or any other science related studies. We are starting to train them in a lot of jobs which are there for the market, like Python and coding. Also, we are teaching them how to do digital marketing. These kind of skills we are teaching them, and it's just started off. So hopefully, there's a lot of demand for more such courses from the students also, and it is keeping them engaged because youth sometimes need a lot of creative channels for them to channelize their energies also. So that is what we've been focusing on.
Excellent. Women have been focus of many of your very good initiatives, but one that strikes is the She Toilets mobile program that you started, and for which you earned the Prime Minister's Award for Innovations in Governance category. happy to know more about it, because these are the models that perhaps could be replicated across so many districts. And young IAS officers, when they listen to this model, I'm sure are going to get inspired. Please tell us about that initiative, Hari.
That's a wonderful thing that we had started. I had worked as municipal commissioner for a long time, around 5.5 years. So one of the basics that I noticed was that clean and hygienic toilet access to women is a big problem. And many women have subsequent health issues because when they move in public places, they are not able to go to a safe toilet. So that's also, as you know, India has one of the highest percentages of ovarian cancers and these kind of health related problems. So as a woman myself, I kept on, we were seeing a lot of toilet models come up under the Swachh Bharat mission. So one of the, this thing, but there was not, they were pink toilets, but they were not something which were flexible for women. They had to find a place to go to them. So in rural areas, I was working in Narayanpet, which is a rural district, and it also had a specific need in the sense it had weekly markets. There was no market which was static. So markets kept changing from village to village, and also there are a lot of temples in that area where women pilgrims frequented. So we thought both ways, we were also a small district, we couldn't spend on toilets at each location. So we decided to have a flexible model where we converted old buses into toilets for women and to make them sustainable, because like I said, the accessibility is the first part. The second part is also that having a clean and a safe toilet which women feel safe to use. So we decided to give it to women SHGs to run the bus. And the SHGs started maybe having, one of them had a tea stall in the bus. The other one had a shop where they sold textiles and handicrafts. So this would sustain them in the market or the temple that they would go to. And it would also give them a workable model. And we made the toilet free for the users. So it was a bio toilet which had biodigesters. It need not have any connection to the drains. And it also had a solar roofing. So it was very easy to operate the bus. And it was a very successful model, and it was awarded one of the best models to be had. And it was reflected in all the Swachh Bharat initiatives. And later on, Telangana itself took up 200 such buses across the state to take up this model. So it's doing well, and I'm very happy that the initiative has taken.
So I request you to, and my team is there in the back end, we should write on this more often. And how does such schemes, how do such schemes sustain, because you carry on, you move on, but so it has been institutionalized, or like you said, 200 more buses. So this looks like it has been institutionalized already, and there is a mechanism in place to have this sustained.
This was a lot of experimentation. We had worked with a lot of models, and where the SHGs were asked to run the toilets even in the static locations. So we realized that when somebody is invested in the toilet, like if they have a shop or they have a cafe in the toilet, near the toilet, then they have the incentive and the motive to keep it clean also. So that is where we worked out this as one of the best models to have. And thankfully, it has been well received across Telangana, and all the municipalities now, all the districts in the state have mobile toilets. And they have these for specifically for women. Where women can take up the maintenance and also the running, and it also gives a source of income to the woman, safe source of income.
Amazing. Congratulations for that.
Keep up
good work. Arunya is another initiative that comes to our mind, and this was how you helped enhance livelihood of the weavers and artisans in your last stint as a DM Narayanpet. By helping them promote their art and selling it to wide. Well, what was the inspiration? How did this idea trigger in your mind? And what has been the outcomes, please?
This was a COVID inspiration, I should say. That district where I was working earlier was a handloom district where there were almost 5,000 weaver families in the district. So during COVID, their sources of market and their stocks were cut. So they couldn't travel with their stocks to different places. They primarily go to Mumbai and Hyderabad and Pune for their market. So they couldn't do that. So they were all stuck in the district and they were at a financial loss. Some of them were even talking about weaver distress and having a lot of financial difficulties. So we realized that during COVID, again, WHO had given the regulation that we should have a three-ply mask, cloth mask. So we decided to combine both these initiatives. We had a lot of stock lying with us with the weavers and also the medical need to have masks around the district. So we decided to give them the order to make masks first for the district. And once we did that, we realized that there is a huge market elsewhere and across the country to have these masks. So we used up all the stock that these weavers had to make masks. And we used women to stitch the masks, and they became quite proficient in making that. So within a month or two, the whole stock was sold out. I think this was the only weaver community who could survive the shock of COVID very efficiently and come out with profits. At the same time, we could get the women also to make these masks and survive. So that led the women to come up to me with new ideas. They were inspired and they had a market. So they started saying that we will do other products, we will do some local products. So that area was known for its fig production. So they started making fig jams, fig jellies, and these kind of things. It transcended to other fruits and other vegetable items. So it just kept on adding, and then the products kept on adding. They started making custard apple preserve, which was taken over by the ice cream factories. So they didn't need to leave the district. They already had some established online mechanism where they could sell their products. And we expanded it and created the platform called Arunya for them, where they could send all their products. So at the end of my tenure, I think we made around 40 products, which were doing quite well. And the women were also very happy. They started getting into bamboo, all the locally available products. So textiles was a major factor. The remaining products were added and they could sell millets, they could sell ragi. So a lot of other production happened.
And that continues now?
Yes, that continues. They're mostly into bulk supply. They also have online platforms. So I'm happy that this was also a long sustaining initiative and they could take off. And there's some financial help to all these women and the weavers there.
That is amazing. That is wonderful. Now, technology is transforming governance, and you have made a unique use of drones, for public health purposes, including sanitizing vehicles when they are coming from outside. Kindly help us understand what was the thinking behind it, and then subsequently also used it for spraying, to combat, malaria and dengue and things like that, and diseases like that.
So this was started in Hyderabad around 6 years ago, before the drone policy took off. But Hyderabad had this very vibrant startup community where students were coming up with drones, and they were indigenous drones which were developed in IIIT Hyderabad. So these students came to me to say that they need some demonstration how they can use these drones, not just for photography. By then, we were using it extensively for photography and videography, but not for other purposes. So then they were talking to me about spraying agricultural fields with pesticides. Any municipality in the country would have a major issue in terms of cleaning up the drains, and also many of the water bodies in the cities are clogged with drainage water. So because they have drain water, they are mosquito breeding centers. And we employ very typical outdated systems where a person has to manually go into the lake, which may be dirty or unhealthy, and do the spraying, and also put those spray balls onto those lakes and these areas. So we decided that it's very unhygienic to do this, as well as also having some cost saving mechanism in terms of using manual labor. We decided to experiment with drones on the lakes. So wherever, and it's also easier because it goes to the center of the lake. So we tried this spraying the mosquito, the all the mosquito repellent things on the lake, and it was very successful. And the rate of the communities around these areas were also very happy with the pilot that we could do. So then we took it up in a major way. We did it across the city of Hyderabad, and after that, we had the drone policy coming in, and it was helpful in taking it across all the municipalities in the country. So now I think all the major municipalities use it very extensively.
Wow, you're truly a trendsetter for rest of the country. I also read about the Prajavani scheme and how it helped uh, enhance citizen delivery. Can you help us understand that as well?
Yeah, that's a wonderful scheme launched by the state government. It's not a personal initiative, but what was done by the government. They had opened up, they wanted the government led by our Honorable CM wanted to have an open access to everyone, and anybody who has any grievances need to be addressed. So this scheme was launched, and every Monday, every Tuesday, and Friday it is there. I have moved on from the role. I've come to the collector role, but it's a wonderful way of interacting with people, knowing their problems, and also seeing that they are redressed properly. Many people don't know which department to go to, which person to reach out to to address their problems. So this is a one-stop solution, and now they're digitizing it so that people don't need to go physically also. So they can have an online platform for addressing all these problems.
Personally speaking, this is one of the most, I would say, substantive reforms in the way bureaucracy works that I have seen. Majority of the state governments and officers like you are focusing on direct interface with the citizens. When we were growing up, we have seen a bureaucracy, typical red tape, but when I hear about and read about such stories where you are allowing citizens to, walk in, I think this certainly has enhanced people's confidence in bureaucracy, and certainly has helped better redressal. Any other experience that you may have about your personal interaction with citizens about their problems, grievances, and how you help resolve?
Mostly, actually, citizens' grievances need to be tracked once because the volume is also so high for officers. It's a problem, I think, for across the country when we have this. But this Prajavani helps in terms of face-to-face interface. Many of us are not accessible to public. Public don't know how to reach or speak to a collector or some other senior IAS officer. So they have these issues, and sometimes they just want a person to hear their grievances. So for us, it may be 100 problems, but for them, it's one single problem which might be taking up a majority of their time. So giving a patient hearing is one thing, and also seeing that it's timely redress. They don't need to come back to us. That's another crucial factor which most of us have to do to cut the red tape, and also to ensure that bureaucracy is not become very inaccessible and unreachable. So, having more digitization, more open forums like online grievance systems, even responding on social media, responding through an SMS system or a helpline system, these are all things that can actually help in reducing the red tape.
Wonderful. One of the advantages of technology is that, again, like I said, you are also able to track better. But in terms of enhancing the access of something like healthcare delivery, and again, you pioneered, I think this is your program, T-Consult initiative.
Yes. Yes.
So how did you go about it and what's been the outcome?
That's again a technology-driven governance initiative. Again, it came out of the necessity of COVID. That time we could not reach out to a lot of people, and I had limited resources in terms of medical personnel. So this was born out of that need and necessity that we had to reach out to all our citizens in the district without being able to travel. So, because many of the citizens also could not come to our medical facilities easily during COVID. So, we realized that there's a gap, and most of our ASHA workers have tabs. So, each village is covered by 2 or 3 ASHA workers. So, we just decided to make them the interface between the doctor and the patient. So the patients need not leave the village or need not leave their household vicinity, but they could access a doctor through the app. And this was the T-Consult app. The app had live consultations with doctors, and after that it also had prescriptions which were given to the ASHA worker, and they could take out the prescription and give the medicines to the patient. So the patient need not move out from their village, and this was also very helpful during COVID. I had one of the lowest percentages of COVID in my district because many people were not traveling. We were not allowing them to move, interact with each other. So whoever was also in quarantine was asked to communicate, download the app on their mobile and communicate with the doctor. So the doctor who kept on monitoring these COVID patients in the home itself, whoever needed home care. So it was a wonderful way of doing it. And later on, it picked up, and then we had the Government of India's app, and everything was online after a while. Even now, it is very useful for patients who need not travel, who have diabetes, and these kind of elements. They can easily consult a doctor without any tests needed. Nowadays, the app has also grown. You can even upload your tests onto it, and there are a lot of good medical consultation apps available.
Excellent. Again, a pioneering initiative, which everyone else. Now, I have prepared a list of the firsts in your career. Conceptualized and executed India's first pet park, something unheard of. Installed first of its kind Loo cafes on a self-sustaining model across the city. Partnered with Apple Home NGO and sponsored India's first Feed the Need fridges at various junctions in the city. Extensive use of recycled plastic for paver tiles. Initiated exclusive women smart toilet marts run by women. She toilets we have already spoken about. Telemedicine we have spoken about. Achieved the first ISO 1400001 green certified public office in Telangana. And as collector in DM Narayanpet, you worked on tier 2 town sanitation issues with low-cost toilets and women toilets on wheel for peri-urban that we have already spoken about, and developed app-based monitoring of all parameters of development indices. Now, it looks like we'll need 2 more interviews of yours to fulfill this, but I'd request you to pick maybe 3 of these and share with us and the audience.
Okay, so I think anyway, pet initiative, let me talk about the pet park. That is toilets, we've already spoken. So this pet park was an idea which we had, which came from a lot of pet lovers in Hyderabad. They were coming to us with requests to take their dogs to the regular parks, which were banned in Hyderabad. So they said many of them had come with this request that they are also part of our family, so we need to have access to the whole family. So this was the idea that we had, and we immediately thought about having a pet park. And I'd seen it in many places abroad, so we just created this out of a unused dump yard. So it was filling up with a lot of garbage. So we cleaned it up and we made it into this wonderful park for pets. It's also an idea which is taken across by all the municipalities now. Many municipalities have dog parks and pet parks now. So it's a good thing that we could be animal friendly and create a new trend across the country. So that also gave us a lot of satisfaction. People came to us saying, we can go as a family together. There are many pet parents who would like to do that. And it also doesn't affect the sensibilities of others who want to use other regular parks. So there is an access and there is a lot of opportunity given to pet parents. So that was one. And yeah, I think.
Feed the Need fridge also sounds interesting.
Yes. So you were talking about all the successful initiatives. Feed the Need was something which I did towards the end of my tenure as a municipal commissioner. We partnered, we have a lot of people who are interested in donating food, but there's also a lot of food wastage which happens in hotels. Which happens in even in our homes. We just leave it in the fridge and we forget. After a few days, we realize, oh, this food has spoiled, so we need to throw it out. So there's a lot of food wastage which comes in all the municipalities, and it turns out that there are a lot of people who go hungry also every day. So matching these two needs, we thought that we should have these fridges positioned across the city, and we could do around 60 of these fridges across the city in Hyderabad. And wherever the hotels thought that at the end of the day, they don't need to use that food anymore, but it has a shelf life of 1 or 2 days. They can put it in the fridge, and anybody who's in need of or who's hungry can just pick up the food which is left over in this fridge. That was the idea to start this. It is a very successful one in wherever it is there in communities. And but a little issue was there after that. We had COVID, and these fridges maintenance was an issue because the NGOs given that task was not able to carry out the cleanliness of many of them. So, yeah, that's a learning for all of us. We need to work out where it can work and where it didn't. But since it was a social initiative, we didn't invest anything from the government side. It was a good learning experience. It works out well in communities, in residential colonies, where the staff take the food and the people give their food to the in the fridge.
Wonderful, amazing. God will bless you for all these great things that you have done. Sustainability is, again, looks like at the core of your heart, and many of your initiatives are also driven by the considerations of that. One being recycled plastics. Can you share your initiatives about that?
Yeah, so this was the first experiment that we could do. And we had a lot of tires and drums lying around in our, when I was in the corporation, we had a lot of old drums, which is this oil drums, and also a lot of tires which were left in our dump yards and also the transport yards. So we have seen on an experimental basis, people used to use these tires for planters. So we decided to experiment a little further, make them colorful, make them attractive to get the recycled tires. And we used all the tires that we had to kind of make attractive furniture, and we positioned them in parks. So this was an instant success. It was also a cost saving measure because we didn't have to go for cement and wooden structures. And it turned out really well. It was appreciated. So we expanded it and used it in all the parks in Hyderabad. Also, at that time, we had a lot of plastic waste which was being collected, and it didn't have any avenue for disposal. So it was just piling up and becoming a landfill and a landmine. So we decided to experiment again with that and mix plastic with roads. That is a technology now, it's quite well known. Plastic roads are it's a mix in the hot tar blacktop roads can use plastic. So that is one way of using it. We also made very colorful recycled plastic tiles, and these tiles had the advantage that they were not breakable like the normal terracotta tiles that we use on footpaths and all this. And it was also very attractive color-wise. Cost-wise, yes, it's a little more costlier than the regular tiles to produce. But then the environmental cost offshoots the recyclable cost. So this was the idea that we had, and we did almost 8 kilometers of footpaths with this tiles.
Excellent. Now we are approaching the last part of the segment of this Bureaucrats India dialogue, and we have with us Hari Chandana Dasari, an IAS officer of 2010 batch, and today is February the 15th, 2024, and you're watching this exclusive interview with Bureaucrats India of Nalgonda DM. Hariji, some tips for aspiring civil servants.
Absolutely. I would say first, never give up. The IAS is a very tough exam, but it takes a lot from you. But what I can say, having seen this career, is it demands that perseverance and that commitment to the exam, which is more important than the way you study. Obviously, your strategy is important. It need not be that you are the best and the most brilliant person around. I think 12th Fail, the series itself, the movie would give you that inspiration. So keep at it and don't give up. Also, your dreams, if you think of it hard enough and you try to aspire, that commitment is also there for you in the heart, that I want to make a difference. I'm sure all of you will definitely succeed. So perseverance is the key, and a lot of hard work, which takes you through this exam. So I wish all the aspirants they follow that, and they can keep going.
Okay. Who is Hari when she's not donning the hat of an IAS officer? Your family, your hobbies, you cook, sing, write, dance.
Yeah, I have a 7-year-old daughter, and my husband's also in service. But my hobbies, I like not sing, dance, but I do paint, and I read a lot. So I can read anything under the sun, be it philosophy or even cookbooks, whenever I have time. I make it a point to read something new every day. So at least it gives me the inspiration to do something, and it also gives me ideas on how to take my life and also my career forward. So that's a tip which I'd give to everyone. And I mostly do traditional art forms like murals and mural work, which is there inspired from our temples and our history. So this is my hobby.
Wonderful. So this is Hari Chandana Dasari for you, as profound in her personal life, in her hobbies, in her extracurricular activities as she is in her service. And about reading, I think I wish this message goes down to everyone. One of the most challenging outcomes of the invasion of the digital into our lives has been the shunning of reading habits by many of us. And it's music to ears when you say that you try and read something new every day. Amazing. Hats off to you. And last but not the least, Hariji, your message for Bureaucrats India and the team behind it.
Firstly, my compliments to you, Navneet ji, and your team. Much before you reached out to me for this interview, I've been following Bureaucrats India. And I can say that, there are so much of negative stories which happen. There are negative aspects in everything which happen around our lives. But we need a lot of positivity and the message of positivity also to spread. There are many bureaucrats who do wonderful things which are not highlighted and which are not shared. And also this sharing of stories, because sometimes we don't get the inspiration to do things on our own. So it's just that if we can transport an idea from somewhere and implement it, it is very easy to bring about change in that particular area or developmental field. So I'm very happy that Bureaucrats India is able to bring these positive stories to all of us or other bureaucrats, and also to the wider audience and public. So my compliments to you and your team for thinking this idea, and also spreading these stories of change and positivity that are happening across the country to the rest of us.
Thank you. Thank you. That bolsters our commitment to continue doing the great work, good work that we are doing. I won't say great as yet, but we are aspiring to make it great one day.
Wonderful work. Keep doing that.
Indeed, we at Bureaucrats India, we celebrate stories of change, positivity, and good governance. And we celebrate officers like you who are so passionate, so committed, and so driven to bring about this change into citizens, bring smiles and bring positivity. These are the stories that must be celebrated and told many times, as many times as possible. It's been an honor and a delight, Hariji, speaking to you, learning about your initiatives. We shall keep following you, keep in touch, and keep sharing your great work. We shall do our best in terms of amplifying, taking these stories far and wide, from Nalgonda to Nagaland. We are going to, and Nagpur, wherever possible, we are going to take it. Thank you very much for taking time out. I thank my team of Bureaucrats India for making this possible. And till we meet again, Hariji, thank you.
Thank you for having me
Namaskar,
over.
and Jai Hind.
Namaskar.